There has to be a bike somewhere. There's my bike right there. You got your bike in the background. We're ready to go, Glenn. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff.
What are we talking about today, Glenn?
Waffles and Hefeweißbier.
See, I knew this was gonna be a bad one. Already we're crumbling, and I just made a mess. I have these cheap American knockoff waffles. What do you have? You have one that looks like a dinner plate.
It's a big one. With sugar, with a lot of sugar.
Mine has only 3 grams. It's advertised. I'm making a mess. Advertised as only 3 grams of sugar if this thing will focus. Bad start.
I live on sugar.
I know. So what race are we talking about today?
We're talking about crit in my hometown. There were only 15 contenders, but like the half of them were pro. So let's see how the pros race over here.
So let's eat some waffles. Let's drink some beer. Let's talk about bike racing.
Yeah, Jeff, let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, but really quick, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal delivery service. The food just shows up at your doorstep, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was a little bit skeptical about this service at first because, come on, we're cyclists. We burn a ton of calories, and one thing I was really concerned about was the quality of the food and more importantly, the quantity of the food because, according to my wife, I eat a ridiculous amount of food, and she's kind of right, to be honest. So when I cooked this up, which by the way is super easy, you can either pull up the directions with your phone or they have these laminated cards inside the package. It's all pre-packed, pre-proportioned. They make it very easy on you. I was pleasantly surprised that there was more than enough for like 4 meals, even at my quote-unquote ridiculous appetite. And it was delicious. So if you want to score points with your significant other, maybe spend more time training instead of at the grocery store, why don't you go on over to HelloFresh.com and use code NorCal16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. I don't know what that means, but go check out what the surprise gifts are. Again, that's NorCal16 for the discount and the 3 surprise gifts. And with that said, let's talk about some bike racing. All right, Glenn, we're just about getting started here. And off we go. There's the bell, man.
Yeah, the bell goes.
Yeah, and the starts of these races are so important because with a small field like this, on a pretty technical course with narrow roads and these tight 90s, it's so important to establish your position early on, right?
Yeah.
1,200 watts out of that corner already. Super crazy. And you're still losing the wheel, right? I mean, you're sustained here 700-800 watts. You're still losing the wheel.
Yeah, just look at the guys in front of the race. They were nuking away at the start of the race. They were immediately putting me in a hurt locker. And I'm just at this moment trying to conserve energy, you know.
But it's hard. It's hard. I know these courses, they're deceiving. I've raced on these locally here in the States. And these are one of these courses where, especially with a field that's full of this many pros, it feels like you're either sprinting or you're coasting or braking into corners, right? Really not much in between.
No, it's on or off.
And this is my point. I mean, look, we're not even one lap into this race, and there's already this threatening group of 5 off the front of the race. But what could you have done differently, right? Like, you look back at this, and if you're like me, I'm like, okay, I should have been in that front group. But what could you have done? I mean, 1,200 watts out of the first corner, and then you kind of held it at 800 for a while, and there's still riders flying off the front of this race. And I hate to say it, Glenn, but I mean, you're just you're just outclassed by these pros. These are professional racers on this course, and it's just not your normal local interclub race where you can dominate things, which we've seen you do a number of times before. Attack, attack, attack. Glenn, that's your style. That's how you win races. But here, you kind of have to reevaluate, like, okay, what do I do to win this race? Were you thinking that when you were in this field?
Yeah, I was thinking about winning, but yeah, the first round in, I was thinking about ways where I can conserve my energy, and I think I could have rode the corners a little better, taking a bit more risk. But then again, I'm not riding my bike for money, so
there's a risk tolerance here that if you're being paid, you have a higher risk tolerance. And also, like, you and I are busy guys with careers and families, Glenn, and we don't train 20, 30 hours a week like these guys do. So I think a lot of it comes down to fitness as well. And also, I like I like eating stroopwafels and drinking beer. I don't know about you, Glenn.
Yeah, I don't have to comment about that, I think. But it's
So-
yeah, you know, it's like if you attend such a grid, you know, I'm only racing like once a week, maybe once 2 weeks, and those guys ride grids like crazy, and they know how to take lines immediately after one round, and I have to, you know, ease into things. I think that's a major difference as well.
Yeah, and these guys cornering is just on a different level. I mean, look at this guy. Basically, he's like on one hand he's about to hit the tree, but he just goes corner to corner to corner, like he's just on rails on this course, and immediately opens a gap on you. It's tough, but these guys are on a different level, and every time you think you're the big fish in a small pond, you come out to a race like this and you go, oh yeah, there is another level of racers. And then these guys who are putting a masterclass on in this field, they show up to World Tour races, and then they get their teeth kicked in. So there's a level above this even, and it's just crazy to imagine, how talented the folks are in this sport.
Yeah, you don't even want to think about it, you know.
It can be discouraging for sure,
Yeah.
but it's also how we get better. Like I love going out to races, not for the fact that I get my teeth kicked in, not big national level races, but for the fact that I come back to the local ones and I'm like, I feel so much more confident, and I realize that I can learn a lot. There's still a lot to be learned in this sport. And I think this was a good wake-up call for you as well. This is kind of the feeling I have when I go and do, bigger races on a national level here in the States, and realize, oh, there are guys who are a step above me, who don't show up to the local stuff as often as I do, but they're out racing their bikes professionally. So, there's moments in this race, and here's one of them right here, where I think you have a decision to make, because you can only follow so many of these attacks. Again, these guys are on a different level, and I think this is a great example of it. This one pro goes, and then a second one follows, and you're in this position where one of these riders in blue, what's the team name again, these guys in blue?
Guys in blue are the Volker Wessels team.
So they have what, 5 riders in this race. So you want to get into a breakaway with one of them. I think this move is smart. Unfortunately, you're just not able to close it down, and it comes back together. You end up back in this chase group. But this isn't the end of it. I mean, this goes on for another like 10 or 15 minutes of this, if you can believe it. Like I said earlier, the first 20 minutes of this race, Glenn, you normalized 380 watts, which is a lot of power. And you have to look back at your efforts that you've done, and then what you are expecting to do for the rest of this race. And you have to choose wisely, because if you just continue chasing these down, which you could probably do, Glenn, you'll eventually drop yourself, right?
Yeah, and this race was in a series, and so I wanted to finish the race for the points for the general classification. So I was a bit at 2 legs at the time, but then again, if I could race for the win, I would definitely do it. But I wasn't in a spot to contend this race as I normally do. So then you have to think in yourself.
Choose your battles. You have to choose your battles.
Exactly.
And this is this is just one of those times where it doesn't work out for you, Glenn. Unfortunately, after about 20-25 minutes of hard racing, this breakaway of 6 eventually gets away. 4 out of the 6 in that group were pros. No surprise there. The one remaining pro in the field is back in this chase group with you, Glenn. So let's fast forward and see if you can knock out a field sprint to take the best of the rest prize.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, Glenn, we just came through 2 laps to go. Race is going to be over in about 2 or 3 minutes here. And you're in the first chase group. So the leaders are up the road. They're not coming back. But you still want to win the field sprint because this is part of a series, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so there's points on the line.
And you find yourself on the front, less than ideal, so you can kind of knock off the power. And this is why it's less than ideal. You get these attacks. And this is typical, right? You see riders who don't want there to be a field sprint, who don't have a field sprint themselves. They're stronger from a breakaway like this, so they're going to do these last-minute attacks. This is to be expected, right?
Yeah, but it's okay at this stage of the final. If somebody's making tempo, then I can sit in and just wait for the sprint.
Yeah. It can be tricky though, because you don't want to have to chase all these down if you want to win the field sprint. You want other people to chase it down, so it's always a game, and that's what these late race breakaway folks look out for. Look out on the left there. Walker on the left. I saw your buddy calling them out.
Yeah.
You want other people to chase down those attacks because you just want to sit in as best as you can. And this is the game that you play. So now we're just outside of 1 lap to go. This will be the final corner. We're going to see it only one more time. This is going to be an important moment in the race for you, Glenn. I always say it. It seems to always be a race for the final corner in crit racing. Although this is a pretty good 250, 300 meters to the line, I think.
Yeah, with the headwind.
With a headwind, don't forget. So that's an important observation. With a headwind. Thank you, Glenn. Another attack on the left, and this is the way it's going to be, I think, until the race is over. And this is the game Glenn's playing now. I mean, sure, you're up to 1,350 watts. There's no free ride, but you want to spend as much time in the draft as possible. What position do you want to be in? Do you feel like you're good right here, or do you want to be a little bit further back?
Yeah, it depends. It depends what happens, what the guy in front of me is planning to do, and when if he's leading me out.
And this guy looks familiar. Who is this number 15?
Yeah, you all know him nuking on the hill on a local course. He's the pro guy.
So it looks like he's doing you a solid here. Is this on purpose?
Yeah, this is on purpose. So he's literally leading me out. And
so he's the remaining pro that's in this field that I mentioned, and he's upset that he missed the lead breakaway, it looks like, but he's doing you a solid, and he's gonna pace you back up to that last solo breakaway, which looked really threatening, to be honest. That guy in the green up there, it looked like it may have gone the distance. But now, how is your position? Maybe a little bit too close to the front, depending on how much more energy 15 has.
Yeah, exactly. If he can drop me off at like 175 meters, 150 meters, then it's okay. But you see, he's elbowing me through. Yeah, and at this stage, I think nothing going to happen for me.
And green goes again. That was the same guy that was off the front, right?
Yeah, this is a strong guy. I waited too long.
Yeah, over 180 beats per minute.
Yeah.
2 pros in this field. That other rider in the blue's a pro as well.
Yeah.
And he takes the field sprint. And not your best day, Glenn. But man, what are you gonna do? You're up against a bunch of pros. I've been there. Hopefully, you'll be better because of it. But today was not your day.
Today was not my day. But yeah, I raced my bike yet again in this great September month, and I enjoyed it.
No complaints, man.
Good life.
Any day on the bike's a good day.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us again, Glenn. I want you to enjoy the rest of that Hefeweizen.
Yeah, that's maybe I get another one.
There you go. Don't forget, guys, if you want more Glenn, let us know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and a subscription. That would mean a lot for the channel. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Okay, Jeff, thank you for having me again.